to That Gray Area. I'm Erinn.
And I'm Vanessa. We're lifelong friends entering that certain time of life that can be a bit of a gray area.
We'll be taking a look at what being a woman and aging looks like right now. So join us in
That Gray Area.
Welcome to this episode of That Gray Area.
Thanks.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Erinn.
So today we're going to kick off what will be a series on shaming.
I love a series.
Specifically, all the ways we shame women.
Yeah. Body shaming, mom shaming, slut shaming. You name it. We can shame it.
Power and aggression shaming. Like, calm down. Be a lady.
Oh.
Smile.
Smile.
Oh, good Lord.
Ew.
Yes.
Okay,
But
let's
today,
get to
Vanessa, why don't you, I wrote down the definition of body shaming.
You did.
I did.
Body shaming is the action or practice of humiliating someone by making mocking or critical comments about their body, shape, or size, or expressing mockery or criticism about a person's body, shape, or size.
So, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too anything.
Yep.
For real.
Yep. You're too big to be wearing that. You're too... I've gotten tall shamed.
Sure.
You're too tall to wear those shoes. I can't tell you how many men have said that to me.
Men, lock it down.
You fucking dumb.
I read a really fascinating study, and it's a study show that people perceived as fat are less likely to be hired, get promotions, they're paid less, they receive biased medical treatment, and they're bullied.
Yeah.
Super sad.
It is super sad.
This is a direct consequence of living in a culture that vilifies and fears fat bodies and that treats that people living in them as morally lesser beings.
Yeah. It's sad, but it's true. I mean, I have, a lot of heavy people in my life. I am a member of a 12-step program that deals with food-related eating disorders, one of which is overeating. And there are lots of heavy people in my life that I love and respect and care for, and they're just as amazing as anybody else. But I have heard a lot of discriminating stories against heavy people.
So sad.
It's fucking heartbreaking.
Because it's just like it's such an old adage, don't judge a book by its cover, but it just makes me so sad that you can't see past, it's like racism, it's like, oh, well, you're black, so you must be whatever. People who are, discriminating against black people. I remember somebody saying once, so what's your problem with put in fat people, black people, brown people, anything? What's your problem? Well, they're lazy or they're this. Oh, so your real problem's with lazy people.
Right.
Not with fat people.
Right.
But we don't go that far down the road with ourselves.
I think fat shaming is one of the only still legitimized shamings.
It's acceptable still.
Because, in this decade, there are movies where people are donning fat suits for humor. Like, still in this decade.
Indeed.
And why is that okay?
And I will say
blackface is not okay. Fat suits are not okay. Just so everyone's clear.
I agree.
Let's not do that anymore.
It's not okay.
Okay, let's talk about how we shame ourselves.
Yes.
Because I think between Erinn and I, we can both agree that we are harder on ourselves than we ever are on anyone else.
I was raised with way too much be nice kind of mentality to ever criticize somebody else openly like that. It just wouldn't ever occur to me to do that. Look, I'm not a paragon of virtue over here. I've thought some real shitty fucking things in my head.
Oh, yeah.
But what I would say out loud to myself and also in front of my friends, my kid, it's bad.
Absolutely.
It's real bad.
Yeah, I would never talk to anyone in my life that I love the way I have talked to myself in the past.
And specifically with body shaming, I'm so ugly compared to that person. God, look at my shoulders, they're so broad. You have a huge nose.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my legs are so fat. All the things that we just...
And then add on everything that happens to your body after delivering 2 10-pound babies and nursing them. Oh, shit.
And then add on...
If I didn't like my body before, oh, boy.
And then add on getting older, honestly, when you can't bounce back as quickly. You know? The body is amazing. You can work out and you can change at any age. But if your expectation is that you're going to go to the gym and all of a sudden magically look like you did when you're 32, good luck with that.
Have a good time. And we've all seen those people. We've all seen those famous Instagram grannies that are out there killing it at 72 years old at the gym, pumping iron, and more power to you. I want to be you when I grow up.
Yes.
But not all of us are like
But also,
that.
they don't look 22.
No, they don't. They look fantastic for their age.
Yeah.
And that's different. And that, I think, should be the goal of everybody, is to be the best 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60-year-old, 70-year-old that you are capable of being by putting in your best effort to care for yourself.
And whatever that means to you.
Right. Like, a lot of people don't feel like being skinny is caring for themselves. For some people, being skinny is really hurting themselves.
Absolutely.
And it's different for everyone.
So I would say, you know, without going down the road too much, because we did already cover this, but I spent the majority of my life, and I still do, in comparing myself to others. I think it's very common.
And it's human nature. Yeah.
And just, you know, if I just had this, if I could just be 5 pounds less, if I could just have bigger boobs, which I don't really care about big boobs, but sometimes I wish I could. If I could, you know, if my legs were just a little bit longer, if I just...
It's like all of a sudden the magical gates of happiness would open and your life would be different. And as somebody who has lost more than 85 pounds in their life, I can say your life is not magically different.
You know, it's really funny because I'm sure there's a lot of women out there who've hung on to a specific pair of clothes or something in the wish that once I get back down to that weight, I'll be able to fit into that outfit, and then I will know
that I'll be happy.
And I've made it. And I had a pair of pants. I loved them. They were white jeans. They were real cute. And I would, every once in a while when I was down a few pounds and feeling good, I'd put those puppies on, and I could never quite get in. They were never quite right. I was close, but no cigar. And one day it hit me. I bought those pants when Todd and I were broken up. We broke up for a year, about 3 years into our relationship. And I was sad.
For months.
I would say.
She cried nightly on my couch for 9 fucking months.
Out of the 352 days in the year, I was probably sad for about 252 of those at least.
Every night I play a song. Like, we'd have a musical guest on the show. I play her a video. And
yeah.
And her sadness affects her stomach. Like, we all carry our hurt and our anger in some part of our body. And for her, it's her stomach. She would just get so sick.
I literally,
poor baby.
I had my red wine and I ate a bowl of Cheerios. But so I remember looking at those pants and I'm like, those are heartbreak pants.
They're your misery pants.
Those are my sad pants. Why do I want to ever be in a place that I have to feel the way I felt then to get into those pants?
That's so fucking powerful.
And I threw those things away the deck. I was like, fuck these stupid sad pants. These are my breakup pants. I don't want to be sad and heartbroken.
Fuck yeah, girl.
So that was a little bit of a, you know.
That's amazing.
A little turning point for the old Erinn.
I am very happy about that. I remember, I was kind of a chubby kid. You know, both my boys went through their little 8-year-old chubby phase. It seemed like we grew. We were always off the charts height-wise. I'm 5. I think I'm still 5'11", but I say I'm 5'10", but because I think I've shrunk. However, my children were always chub out a little bit and sprout up 6 inches.
It's like you go whoop, whoop,
yeah,
whoop, whoop.
Exactly. Out,
yes.
up, and I did the same. So around 8 or 9 years old, I was obsessed with Charlie's Angels. I wanted to be like Cheryl Ladd, Cheryl Tiegs, and Farrah Fawcett.
Pause for voice. For those of you listening to the podcast portion of this program, Vanessa looks a lot like Farrah Fawcett.
I have feathered hair today.
Her hair is glorious.
Between you and me, I am waiting for huge, big feathered hair to come back and have been on bated breath.
Since 1979.
But I digress. So
Continue.
I remember I just wanted to be beautiful like those women. I always wanted to be a solid gold dancer or a Charlie's Angel or Julie McCoy on the Love Boat. These were my goals in life. And they were all very tiny people.
Yeah.
And I donned my brand new bathing suit and my mom said, "Oh, you look so cute. Let me take your picture." And so I went out and I took pictures in my new bathing suit and we got the pictures developed. And I remember thinking, I am so much bigger than them. I remember thinking, like, I was so tall and I was a little chubby. And I just remember going, like,
That's
2 of them would fit in me. And I remember going, well, that's disappointing. I didn't have any loathing over myself for it at that point. No, I would just remember going, well, that's not right. But never thinking I had to do anything about it at that age.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to, I had a massive growth spurt. So between like 9 and 12, I probably grew like 7 inches. And I was tiny. I mean, I could not keep weight on me to save my life. I was eating constantly. And my best friend at the time and I were starting to go to the beach with friends at 12, 13. You know, someone's mom will drive you to the beach, or we'd go with her mom on her fun, boozy, divorcee vacations to Catalina, which encompassed a lot of my childhood and were the best times of my life. But my best friend, who was starting to put on a little weight, would look at me and go, ew, you're so gross. I don't even want to stand next to you. I hate you. You're so skinny. You disgust me. You're so skinny. And I remember starting to get positive attention from men and negative attention from my best friend, who was the most important person in my life at that time.
Yes, yeah.
It fucked with my head big time. I knew that if I stayed this skinny, I might lose my best friend because she wouldn't want to be around me.
And that's, to me, just so crazy and insidious that whatever programming, whatever messaging she had heard made it completely okay to speak that. And granted, kids can be cruel, but
let's be perfectly clear. She thought she was giving me a compliment.
Oh.
It was like, ew, God, I don't even want to be next to you. But it was constant.
Well, and I think we don't realize that is shaming. Eat a sandwich.
Yeah.
God, that kind of thing. So now your body starts to have all this, it's tied up with shamefulness.
Yeah, now my body is to be judged by others, and their opinion of it really fucking matters.
Yeah. And my sister, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I know she had told me some stories about the men in our family being very free with their comments about what she should look like, what her weight should be. If only you could look this good for the rest of your life. Granted, she was like 15 at the time. You know, and these messages stay with us, these shameful messages. So
no man in any family should comment on a woman's body, child, adult, or otherwise, other than to make them feel like it is healthy and there to support them.
And not sexy. Not sexualized. I mean, that's something that happened to me.
Or idolized in any way.
Yeah.
Like, even, your grandpa's not going to look at you and go, oh, hey, you're looking really good. But they'll admire you for your feminine form and say, oh, good job.
You're so
as
beautiful.
If your fucking genetics as a child is something to be proud of.
I mean, and I remember doing that with my kid. And I always would remember to put smart, kind, caring, intelligent before I would put beautiful or good looking.
Yeah.
Because we do put so much value on looks.
We do. And then beautiful women, if you're beautiful from an early age and that becomes where you get your power and attention, who are you when that goes away? I mean, it goes back to that Paulina quote. Mm-hmm. Nothing ages worse than a beautiful woman's ego.
Exactly.
Because what else are you if that's all you've got?
That's your value.
Your pretty daughters need to also know how smart they are. Be encouraged in every avenue that suits them. They need to be smart. They need to be kind. They need to be
hardworking,
passionate about something.
Industrious.
Absolutely.
Have follow through.
Pretty or beautiful should never be the first fucking thing out of your mouth when you talk about them. And in my opinion.
Agreed. And research suggests that the habit of body shaming can actually lead to our own weight gain over time.
Oh, that happened to me.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because it just becomes this, it's a shame spiral.
Yeah, I remember eating more Coney Island chili cheese fries.
Because fuck it.
So, because I wanted to, not have her be mad at me or hate me.
I did read this one study, though, in 2012, conducted by the University of Notre Dame, showed people images of women who are considered by society standards as overweight. Each photo had a comment from the women about their own bodies. Now, some were positive, some were negative, but all women were perceived as what we would say, traditionally overweight. The women in the photos with negative comments were viewed as less likable. So if you're walking around saying, I'm so fat, I'm so this, I'm so... it's okay. I believe you.
I believe you.
I believe you.
And then you've got women like Lizzo, who are out there like, check out my big, fine ass.
I mean, I just love that.
I know.
So very much.
I do too.
I just think it's amazing. And I just really admire people. And we've talked a little bit, and we will talk about this more, but there is so many positive body image on social media, so many sites and so many accounts.
There is.
And and debunking this idea of a perfect body. I'm like, let's be real, people. Yeah. I've gotten myself a Facetune, and I just sat there, and I'm like, look at me, I've got no wrinkles. And then Where there was one picture that we were floating around for this podcast, and I was like, I think we went too far. I think I look like a vampire.
Okay, so we have this picture, and I don't remember if it was out that night for your work event or if we were at the Hollywood Bowl seeing Harry comic, but we took a selfie, and you have the cutest little nose crinkle when you smile right here, but for whatever reason, the light was hitting it in a way you did not find flattering. You're like, oh, my wrinkles, and so I thought, well, I'm going to use this picture. I better fucking wipe out her wrinkles in Photoshop or she's not going to let me use it. We don't have a lot of cute pictures of the two of us.
Which is weird.
I know. I have a lot of pictures of her. She has a lot of pictures of me, but there's not a lot of us together. So I just went to town. I'm real good at Photoshop, and I was like, boop, boop, boop. Look at that. Not a wrinkle in sight. And so tell her what Skylar said.
I opened it in front of my kid. And I said, what do you think of our new logo? And Skylar goes, Mom, whoa, you look like a vampire. I was like, yeah. Like, you really,
Nessa went a little too far.
You're talking about body positivity and self-acceptance and aging gracefully, and I don't know if that's on brand. It's like, take it
from the mouth of babes.
Seriously. So anyhow.
So I reverted it back just so you know if you see that picture floating around out there. It is the unedited version.
Yes. Yeah. And I will just say,
I mean, I might take out a zit or two because those aren't permanent fixtures, but that doesn't count.
Yes. Or a bad shadow, or like red eye.
Yeah.
Or if your teeth look yellow.
Yeah.
No, I was joking.
I know.
I'm joking. But I just think it's really important to keep in mind that when we talk about body shaming, we're often talking about those trolls on the internet who are saying, shitty things. But really, the true source of the majority of body shaming is how we feel about our own bodies.
Yeah.
And that's something we can change every day a little bit on our own.
Right. Especially women to women. It's one thing for a man to have some conditioned, because they're conditioned too, let's be honest.
It's true.
No 20-year-old right now came out of the womb, with an open mind about what a woman's body is supposed to look like. It's been shoved down their throats as well.
By men and women.
Absolutely. But what I just have even harder time with is women who body shame other women. And it goes both ways.
It really does.
Like you said, eat a sandwich.
You're too skinny, you're too fat, you're too this. And one thing I was going to say before is that, there's been a lot, and I'm curious what, if anybody has thoughts on this. There was a big thing, Jillian Michaels said something about Lizzo, I believe, and that she is very unhealthy. And there was a lot of pushback. And I would say, I was talking about this to my kid, and I said, if we saw a woman who was 30 pounds underweight, we wouldn't say, well, it's her right, it's fine. It is unhealthy. There is a range, but what I'm saying, there's a range of healthy normal.
Yes.
And that could be from very, very slim to what many people by society standards in this society would be considered unhealthy. But let's let each person make that judgment for themselves.
With the advice of their medical professional.
Exactly.
Yes,
there is a point where you can be too unhealthy and you can't move and you're at risk for diabetes.
Or you have diabetes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I put that on here too. Like, I have to admit that, like, when I started seeing some of the companies out there now that are really celebrating all body types in their product lines, I love it. But I have to say, I'm shocked that I've seen a couple where the women are categorically obese. And you know what? I'm outing myself that I was like, that's not healthy. But not for me to judge. That I don't get to say that. I might think that in my head, but I'm certainly not going to troll that to anybody. I'm certainly not ever going to tell anybody I feel that way, because that's their health journey. How do I know they weren't 50 pounds more than that before?
Exactly.
And if you can walk and run and get everywhere you need to be and your blood works normal and...
Have you seen Lizzo on stage playing the flute and stomping around?
I mean, this girl was well beyond Lizzo. Like, Lizzo is wow. And this girl was, oh honey, in my opinion. And you know what? I'm entitled to that opinion. But what I'm not entitled to do is tell her my opinion. Or
she asks you for it.
And right? And I don't feel anybody reaching out to me for their opinion on their weight. So I won't offer it. I won't share it.
Yeah.
I can think whatever I want to because I'm a human and that's my right. However, you do get to a point where you have to be responsible for your own health and your own life. We're not talking about those people.
And indeed, I think also what's been really exciting for me is when, one of the first companies that I really admired that started showing athletic women in all their shapewear and things like that was Athleta, it's a subsidiary of
The Gap.
First few times I received that catalog, I was aware enough to see that I was having a visceral reaction, like, oh she's too fat, or Oh, I thought those things.
And I've thought the same thing when they have an older person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now I've been looking at their catalogs for 2 years. Now I get excited and I look for them. And I've unconditioned myself to have that reaction. So we can undo that conditioning and be in a place.
Everything.
Yes, everything. And be in a place of acceptance about a wide range of healthy and normal.
Yes. BMI is not the be all end all. It's not.
I think it's not going to be a thing anymore pretty soon.
It's been debunked.
Indeed it has.
Yeah.
So we've talked already we've already segued into how do we shame others, but I did love this list of phrases that I thought really triggered me on some level. It says this is body shaming. Oh, you're so brave for wearing that outfit. Oh yeah. You're so brave for exercising. Well,
what they mean is you're so brave showing up at the gym looking like you look and be subject to the ridicule of most men.
So I guess in that sense, you are brave.
You are brave. But why is it a thing?
It's dumb.
Isn't that the person who should be most celebrated?
Indeed. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
True. I mean, like, a gym should be a safe space for everyone who walks in there and wants to improve their body.
Not a place where somebody's taking secret pictures of you and shaming you on social media.
Fuck, motherfucker. I will punch someone in the throat if I ever catch anyone doing that shit.
You better, if you're out there doing that, like that woman who I have to say, karma's a bitch. I mean, the justice was swift for her. And she was taking a picture of that old lady. And I was like, you horrible human being.
Okay, tell the whole story because no one's going to know what you're talking about.
If you recall, this was a couple of years ago. Yes. There was a woman, very fit, very beautiful.
Minor celebrity, if I recall.
Yeah, I think she was some kind,
some C-level celebrity.
I don't remember what she did. But very fit, very pretty. And she saw a woman well into her 70s, possibly 80s, changing in the locker room. And she was...
And I should say that women of this age, they don't give a fuck. They'll parade around naked all damn day, and more power to them.
I earned these flappy titties, bitch.
That's right.
What is up? So anyway, she was changing after her shower and drying off, minding her own damn biz after her workout, which, again, why are we not applauding her for still being there at the gym doing her thing?
Right?
Trying to take... And this woman snapped a picture of her, unbeknownst to her, with like this, but it was like this. So it was like she's in the foreground, the old lady's in the background. And she's like, ooh, and makes some disparaging remarks.
Yeah, like I hope I never ever get there or something like that.
That means you're going to be dead. So anyway, the retribution against this woman, I almost say poor woman because I'm sure in her mind.
You earned it.
She's
nicer than me.
She must have got, I just hope she got woke because, she got financially in trouble. She got fired from her job. And the public humiliation and shame she
should have shut down all her social media.
I mean, and justified. All I can say is I hope she learned a lesson from it. But that's disgusting to me. Like, we need to be, we don't need to be shaming each other's bodies for being fat or skinny or old or anything. And then this is a good one. You're not fat, you're beautiful.
Oh, God.
You can be both.
That goes along with you would be so beautiful if you lost weight.
You have such a pretty face.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. What you might not know by looking at me currently is that I have weighed almost 100 pounds more than I weigh right now. I had myself a party after my first pregnancy. I gained 100 pounds with Shane. Yeah, that's right. I gained 100 pounds with Shane. And I held on to that for quite a while. I lost 40 of it in the hospital.
That's what I'm going to say. You probably, but still.
He was 10 pounds, and I probably lost 20 pounds of water weight in there. So I probably lost 30 or 40 by the time I left the hospital. But, I mean, I was pushing 200 pounds for a huge part of my life. Yeah. Of my adulthood. And before I had my second one 5 years later, maybe a year before I had Cole, I will say I was very unhealthy. I was very overweight for a very long period of time. And I was shamed by the people in OA because I wasn't fat enough to be a member. I had so much issue with this. At the time, I didn't really get it. Like, I didn't want to share my story. I didn't want to talk. Because people would look at me at 180 pounds or whatever and be like, well, you're thin. Comparatively in the room, I may have been. But it doesn't negate my journey or what I've gone through, the fact that food was controlling my life and that I needed help with it. But I would get seriously skinny shamed in OA.
So crazy. Well, I was going to say, one thing I was going to say, and I thought you should really talk about it, is commenting on somebody's, like, eat a sandwich, people say. Don't comment on somebody's choice of food, how much they've eaten. Because it's body shaming, and also you don't know, it could be painful if you don't know their relationship with food, and that just to me breaks my heart speaking, because that speaks so clearly to your journey.
It's true, and God bless my sweet, wonderful boyfriend. I actually had to explain to him, because he loves to feed me. He's so sweet, and he's often lately been cooking for me during the pandemic. He makes the most incredible blue cheese stuffed turkey burgers of all time. Hand makes them. Oh, so good. So he made me 2. And I was like, I'm not going to eat 2 hamburgers because we had sides and salads and all that stuff. And he's like, no, but it's just like a little one. And you were starving. You haven't eaten lunch. You barely ate breakfast. And it's true. I had a hellish day at work and I told him all about it. So in his mind, he's like, I want to feed you, my poor baby. You know, but he knows my backstory, but he doesn't know how that would affect me. And so I had to have a little bit of come to Jesus moment with him and explain to him, honey, I love that you take care of me. I love that you want to cook for me, but that's a big trigger for my eating disorder. Being very hungry is bad for me, but being overstuffed is very bad for me as well. And so I regulate my relationship with food in order to prevent that stuff from happening. And so, I mean, he gets it. He's highly intelligent. He's like, oh, gotcha, you know, no problem.
But it just, it speaks to the point that
you don't know who you're dealing with regarding
you just
food.
Don't know. And you see somebody who's fat, and you think, oh, how fat? Like Vanessa said, you don't know that they lost 100 pounds, and that they are sitting on cloud 9 because of how far they've come. And one unkind word or just callous, thoughtless remark, you just don't know. And why do we even? If you are in a place where you are saying something like that to somebody, I would just say, why are you saying that? What is it? What's going on with you? Yeah. What's happening inside?
There's a doctor I follow who treats women with eating disorders as well as other illnesses. And runs a body positive site. And she asked in her stories, what is the worst thing someone said to you about your weight when you were really thin? And it may not have been phrased that way, but she said, reply with what was really going on when somebody congratulated you on how thin you looked.
Yeah.
And it was like the grocery store clerk's like, oh my God, you look amazing. What are you even doing? She's like, well, my mom died. Oh, God, you look so good. What's happened? Oh, I have cancer. Oh, God. Oh my God, you look so thin. Congratulations. What happened? She said, I suffered my 3rd miscarriage. Yeah. And I haven't been able to eat.
That's really not.
You don't fucking know.
Unless you know somebody's personal journey, that they've really been working hard to get abs or to lose 20 pounds, or, you know, like my kid, to gain weight. Yeah. This child has lost.
Skylar, God bless her, has her dad's metabolism and works hard to put on mass.
Gain weight because it's important for their personal feelings of happiness and well-being, body-wise, to not be wayfish.
And I've probably put my foot in my mouth and said, God, I wish I had that problem.
I've said it a million times. So we're
calling ourselves out here.
Yeah. Whenever we're talking about this kind of stuff, it's like clearly, we've probably done all of these things in the confines of our relationship, which we feel safe being inappropriate, or in our own minds, or to our children, or and as we said, to ourselves.
Yes. But just think twice before you compliment someone's weight loss. Indeed. Unless you know, like Erinn said, that they have actively been working toward it.
Exactly. And usually what I say to somebody, if I feel like they look fit, or I'll just say, wow, you're looking really fit and healthy. You're looking really, I don't know if even that's bad, maybe.
Right. Well, because don't kid yourself. When I lost all that weight, I worked fucking hard to lose all that weight. I liked it when people said, hey, you look really great. I kind of did. But at the same time, could I have that out of my life in order for somebody else to not feel hurt by that comment? Yeah. Could we just get rid of all that so that somebody doesn't suffer or be in pain because of it? Yes. So I can congratulate myself for my weight loss.
And you'll have a million people in your life who will know that.
Right. She'll congratulate me for my weight loss. The lady in the grocery store doesn't need to do it.
Indeed. And same with, we were talking a lot about, before, about how in this society, and every culture does it, about ideals of beauty, standards of beauty. So in the 90s, it was heroin chic, and it was this, and then it was the Kardashians, and real women have curves. So
what?
Now skinny women that were like the hottest thing on the planet who have no curves, now they're not real women. What are they? Half of women? And I guess
I don't have curves.
And you're a real woman.
I am a real woman, but I also have hips like a 15-year-old boy.
And I have lots of curves, and because of when I came up, I still have a hard time embracing them. But when you look at women in your life, like, there's a skinny woman, there's a tall woman, a short woman, a curvy woman, a woman with lots of freckles, a woman with a shaved head. All these women, you can see all kinds of different women of shapes and sizes and body types. And in their personal lives, they have successes, they have people who love them, they get married, they have lovers, they have jobs, they do all these things. But for some reason in our media and our culture, we are obsessed about creating an ideal of beauty, and it changes from decade to decade. That's not reality.
Right.
And so all these women who are succeeding and doing things have to carry around the secret shame that probably their husband, if they really found out or really opened their eyes. I mean, I felt that with my husband. Like, I've said this before. Why do you like me? I don't feel very attractive inside. Society has told me that I'm not pretty. You're probably going to want to leave me for some woman who's younger or more voluptuous.
That goes back to the whole terror I had as a child when there was a stack of Playboys on the back of the toilet, and my mom is a curvy girl. And I was like, oh, we're on borrowed time with this man because this is clearly what he likes. I was literally as a child afraid for my parents' marriage.
So wouldn't it be nice is if we could, and representation is something we've been talking a lot about in the LGBTQ community, but representation for women is very important. And we are finally starting to see older women and thin women, heavier women, all reflected back. And that representation, it's not trivial.
No,
it's not trivial. We are a visual society, and we are inundated 24/7 by all kinds of media.
Yeah.
And so when that media reflects something that reflects your personal experience and your friends and people you see, it's a lot nicer than having to carry around that secret fear that you're not good enough because you don't look like Kim Kardashian.
Right.
Or Kate Moss.
Right.
And God bless them both.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Absolutely.
So gorgeous. I'm never going to be either one of them.
Nor.
I'm just gonna be me. Which gets sort of.
And the good news is that that's okay. And that is the one wonderful thing about midlife, ladies and gentlemen.
It's true.
You really do start living in self-acceptance.
A lot more.
Yes. We aren't there yet. But
a lot more.
I know her well enough to say we're not totally there yet. I can speak for both of us on that, but it's true.
Work in progress. But let's talk about, we talked about cyber, like as far as social media and, people trolling and how it's really easy
and the fake people with their Finsta, which is your fake Insta account where you can just troll people and say all the shitty, mean things you want to. That's a thing. People create second sub-accounts so they can say all the things they really want to say without any blowback from anybody who knows them or loves them. It's really fucked up.
It's so... I one time made a comment about this woman on Yahoo. She was a comedian and she was delivering some news story. And I don't know why. I was in a bad mood. And I was like, ugh, the story's interesting, but who's this woman? I didn't say anything about her looks. I just panned her delivery. I'm like, she's not funny at all. And guess what?
She replied. Oh, fuck.
To me personally.
Oh, fuck.
And the most, pierced to my heart part of it.
Oh, she was so nice about it,
She wasn't even mad. She was like, really? Why don't you think I'm funny? How do you think I could improve? And I was just like, at my desk at work. Like, oh. And
now you know it's not anonymous. And so many people feel it is.
And I gushed. I was like, I have never once... I mean, I've left negative reviews.
Oh, yeah.
But I've never just a shitty comment. Just shitty. It wasn't constructive, It was just mean. And I apologized and I said, please forgive me and good luck in your career. And I'm literally going to go fucking stick my head in an oven. I feel so horrible.
I know. Knowing her, God, she beat herself up for fucking days about that, I'm sure. She never even told me she did that. So I know you carry some shame surrounding that.
I don't even want to hurt anybody.
I know, you're so nice. What got into you?
But let's not.
Okay, but let's talk about almost the confusion. It's gotten so bad. We are so confused about what's right and what's wrong that people on the old Instas who are trying to do the right thing are maybe swinging their pendulums a little too far and getting themselves in a little bit of trouble.
Yes. This is a great way to wrap this up because this is fascinating.
This is. Okay, so many of you are familiar with the actress Rebel Wilson, famous from the Pitch Perfect movies. Wonderful, beautiful, talented Australian actress. Now, she has been posting on her Instagram for months about her COVID weight loss journey. She is hiking mountains and she is boxing in gyms and she is working with a trainer and she has dialed in a meal plan and she has been posting selfies of her positive journey along the way. She is proud of herself and we support that 100%. But an Instagrammer, Alex Slight something, posted a picture of Rebel's side by side before and after and said, Let me see.
Here.
Rebel Wilson is everywhere, and I mean everywhere. Another before and after that simply paints the before as bad and the after as good. Mind you, she made the before and after.
The Instagrammer did.
Yeah.
Not Rebel.
Nope. It makes me sad, but you know what makes me sadder? Swipe to see why she was motivated to lose the weight.
And so it strips the person in the image of any value except of how they look. Okay, that's what you're doing. Sorry.
Yeah, she worked really hard on her health and fitness for her own reason that she chose.
Now, but the next comment, I think, is probably where she wanted to head, but sort of missed the mark.
Go ahead.
So to be taken, swipe right to see why she was motivated to lose the weight. To be taken seriously because she was pigeonholed as a comedy actress and unable to expand into dramatic acting, all because she was fat. No other reason, because she was fat, and apparently fat people can't be taken seriously.
And I will say, I swiped right and I read her words. They didn't line up with this. I mean, it did say that she wanted to be able to change herself physically so that the audience could see her move into a new type of role. She thought she might need a physical transformation to go along with the transformation of her acting style, because she was originally trained as a dramatic actress and feels that she's been pigeonholed a little bit, which, great. Her reason, her career, her choice, right? We don't get to shame her for choosing what she fucking wants to do.
And to me, when I read that, what I said to Vanessa was, I said, to me, if you had focused on, isn't it sad that as a society, because there really is true, there's not a lot of romantic leads, male or female, that are heavy.
But I would argue she's been in several where she is the heavy romantic lead.
Oh, is that true?
Yes, it is.
And I think that's obviously kind of rare. And I wish that the Instagrammer would have said, I want to live in a world where everybody's weight loss journey or body style or body shape is nobody's business, and we can just see people, like I was just saying before, heavy people have romances.
Yeah.
And heavy people are serious. Yet, when we see them on in the cinema, we have a different standard of what's right, whether that's age or anything.
Right, but with actresses like Amy Schumer and Rebel Wilson, and more women embracing every type of movie, every type of rom-com. I mean, Rebel's been in it a bunch. Amy's been in Trainwreck, one of the most successful rom-coms in a long time. She would not be considered dainty, but again, like we've said so many times, once you get exposed to it over and over again, it becomes normal, and normal eventually becomes acceptable, and then acceptable becomes somebody's preference. So we just need to get out of our own fucking way.
And I feel bad for this woman, because I think she does have a body positive account. I think
she does. She works very hard to.
She got some serious blowback.
She did. Here's one of them.
Yeah, this was.
Hi. Normally, I love your work, but I absolutely disagree with this post. Firstly, it completely ignores the other side of this industry, which needs to change. That being the fact that women who have a comedic flair are paid more to stay fat, and sometimes get fatter for comedic timing. By losing some fat, Rebel's not chasing her dreams. She's taking a massive risk, because the industry she works in puts her image as a fat woman above how she feels in her body. So hang on a second. Isn't that the exact thing we're fighting against in the body image sphere? Secondly, by you using her image this way, I think you're completely undermining the effort and dedication it took for her to transform her body. You also undermine the pride she has in herself because of this, which she has spoken out about numerous times on her own Instagram. And I will backtrack and say, I don't know how she lost the weight, but I'll just say. And it's like, wait a minute. You're going to post to your 200 and something thousand followers a before and after and pontificate on her weight loss journey, and you don't even know how she did it?
Yeah.
Let's do your research, honey.
Indeed. And just the bottom line is, if we want to talk about, reconditioning ourselves and reprogramming ourselves, yeah, I'm all for that. I'm 100% pro that. But I'm never going to be pro anybody's body the way they want it to be. And if she wants to box and train and eat healthily, that's a problem all of a sudden?
Exactly.
That's more of a problem than she doesn't want to do any of those things. They're both equally her right.
Absolutely.
It's not, leave her alone.
And my favorite quote from it is, while fat phobia exists and no one should have to experience it, I really think we need to start valuing individual pursuits and goals, trusting we as individuals know what's best for us. Because for me, you using her image and what she views as a success to promote other women's experiences and your own perception of her motivation is not helpful.
Indeed.
Boom! Mic drop.
Indeed.
Commenter, you fucking killed it.
Indeed. And that's just the bottom line. It's none of your business.
It's none of your fucking business. Whatever anyone's body looks like, hot, not, in your mind, tall, short,
Yeah.
thin or otherwise.
And if you have a reaction to somebody's body, which we all have, we're human, we have eyes.
Keep it to your fucking
And,
self.
and then have a little conversation with yourself. Why is this making me so uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
That's what I did. That's what I've been doing. And the more you ask and the more you open your eyes to see something that, like I say, your conditioning tells you is bad or wrong or ugly, the more
What's my favorite question?
The more, what's that?
Am I seeing this
Am
right?
I seeing this right?
Am I seeing this right?
So
I don't trust my own damn eyes.
Yeah, and my own visceral
reaction.
Because
my first instinct is not always right.
Exactly. That's all.
That's
Just
all.
ask.
All right.
Okay.
So that was body shaming.
Body shaming. So part 1 in Shame on Us, body shaming. Next we might talk about a little slut shaming or a little mom shaming. We'll have to see how we feel.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
Later.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe.
Mm.